My maiden name is McGee, M-C-G-E-E. I am not a transplant. I was born and raised here in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County. I lived in a section called Third Ward, which is now known as the Panther Stadium area of Charlotte. Then we came along and we moved out to Graham Street, way out Graham Street, and that was called Graham Heights. So they came along in the late 60s, early 70s, and said they were doing an urban renewal, which meant that there was black removal. Moorhead, Mint Street, South Trine Street was all predominantly black people. And we had the place called the Charlotte Pike Foundry, and that's where my father worked. And he was a custodian, and then somebody got hurt, and he had a chance to move up to working on the line. And I remember that. And my mother worked at the hospital, Good Samaritan Hospital, was the black people hospital. And my mother worked there for as long as I can remember until we got Charlotte Memorial Hospital, which is now known as the Atrium Hospital here in Charlotte. And my mother worked there. She always worked in intensive care for as long as I can remember. And when they finally got Charlotte Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Robichaud came with the heart specialist, my mother went and worked for the heart unit. And she worked there until she died. And I grew up when I grew up here in Charlotte, where you now have all of the downtown activities, the Panther Stadium, the park, the baseball stadium, all of that was considered as a black neighborhood. And it was a poor black neighborhood. But guess what? I didn't even know that I was poor because we had food, we enjoyed each other, and my mother and father would always take us on a trip. And we would go visit our family out in Harrisburg, where now I live only 5 minutes away from Harrisburg. But we used to tell our friends, we're going out of town, and we would be headed to Harrisburg. And once you came down South Trine Street past the Marina Dog Chow, and Marina Dog Chow was like maybe a block up from the WSOC TV, where you are now. Well, that was called Out of Town of Charlotte. That was at the Mecklenburg, at the the end of the line. You going out in the suburbs. And I went to a school called Isabella White Elementary School, and then busing came along. And when busing came along, I was bused to 3 different schools. I went to York Road, which was where I wanted to go, because York Road was one of the black schools that you wanted to go to when you got to high school. There was West Charlotte, Second Ward, and York Road. Those were the dominant black schools here in Charlotte. So you kind of like wanting to go and be a part of where your sister and everybody else went. Then I went to Eastway Middle School, and we had to meet the quota, and so we would move to Eastway Middle School. And then I went to J.T. Williams Middle School, and when we got to J.T. Williams Middle School, back up, when we went to Eastway, I went to Eastway, then I went to J.T. Middle School, which brought me back to the black neighborhood, and the Eastway Middle School was considered a white neighborhood. And then we got, I thought that I was gonna get to go to East Mecklenburg High School, because that's where my oldest sister went to East Mecklenburg High School. And there was 2 years between us. And my mother was really active in our school, and she was on the PTA board, and she made sure that she brought us extra lunches. And when we did field trips, she was always one of those moms that helped out. And so when I got ready to go to East Mecklenburg, my 10th grade year, we were sent to North Mecklenburg. The busing was still in effect, and we had to meet a quota. And on the paper, my name was cut from my sister's name. So Anise went to East, and I thought that's where I was gonna go. But no, the line said that I had to go to North Mecklenburg. So my mother, she was a real civil rights worker, and she fought for a long time to try to get that straightened out so that the paper wouldn't count where you went to school, that the family stayed together. So it made it kind of a little difficult for her to go to PTA meeting and be involved in the two different schools. And my sister Anise, she was Miss East Mecklenburg. She was the A in the East Mecklenburg, the letter girl. And so that she did a lot of, and we wanted to, support her because that's the way we was raised, to support each other. And then my sister Kay, I went to North, and Kay was up to Graham Middle School, which was right next door to North Mecklenburg School. So my mother had two kids up in the Huntersville area that she had to try to be a part of their life. And so that meant that my 10th grade year, I was at North, Kay was at Alexander Graham, next door to North Mecklenburg, and Anise was at East Mecklenburg. And that really took a toll on my mother because she didn't appreciate that. And I have seen Charlotte grow. I have seen Charlotte grow by leaps and bounds, but my only concern is that they never did prepare for low-income working families. And with that, I tell you, thank you so much for being a Charlotte Mecklenburg true native 10. And I call myself, I'm not a transplant. We have a lot of transplants here. And when I say that, I mean that they're from other cities, they're from other states, they're from other countries. But there's no place like being a Charlotte Mecklenburg born and bred. Thank you.